Hey guys, it's Will with Adventures in Anime. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, hi, thanks for coming. I hope you enjoy what you're going to see today. If you subscribe, that'd be a huge help. Thank you so much. Give this video a thumbs up and let me know in the comments which movies I should be watching, which anime series, and more specifically, because it's the video about manga that I'm doing right now, tell me which manga to read. So, as you know, I'm going through the history of anime and I'm watching all these incredible movies and TV shows that I have never seen before, despite being a huge fan of Japanese cinema, having lived in Japan the whole 9 yards. And I've read very little manga in my life. I should also add that when I was a kid, I was a huge comic book fan, to the extent that I actually used to hang out in the comic book stores. And I had a good friend who would go and hang out with me, and he and I would, we came up with our own comic book characters, and we would, write down our own storylines, and, I was really into the comic book store, and I had certain series that I had, every time the issue came in, they would hold it for me, and I would go and spend my allowance on it and stuff like that. But I was really, really into just the obvious stuff that you would be into. I was a huge fan of Batman. I read the Superman, when Superman died, and they had all those other Supermans like Steel and the four different Supermans, right? And then Superman came back, and I was reading that whole thing, and Bane breaking Batman's back, I read that whole storyline. And my friends kind of as I got older, my friends started getting into stuff like Sandman and that kind of more cerebral, Spawn, the more violent stuff. And at that point, I kind of drifted in more into being into movies and reading novels and stuff like that. When I got maybe 15 or so, I started reading books more than comics and stuff like that. And so I have been recently, within the past 5 years or so, rediscovering the joy of reading comics through deciding that I need to kind of investigate manga a little bit. So the manga that I have read is very, very, very limited. As you can see, I have volume 1 of Akira right here. It's part of my very wonderful set decoration, production values. Hey, I have I'm sorry, the dog is coming over. Let's let the dog settle. She's gonna make some noise, and then we can keep doing our little conversation here. I have Akira Volume 2 right here, which I've read. I've read all of the Akira volumes, but there's 7 of them, and they are super, super long, and I didn't feel like bringing them all over here to show you. But I'm obsessed with Akira. I watched the movie 5 years ago or so. Maybe it's 3 or 4 years ago. I revisited that movie, and Akira is actually the reason this whole channel exists, right? So I saw Akira when I was 12, and I was way too young for it. And then I saw it again when I was 18, and I still think I was a little bit, not too young at that point, but I was I didn't know enough about what it's about to really get it. And then I watched it again, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, and it blew my mind. I was this is absolutely freaking incredible. I watched it 5 times in a month or two. I bought this Blu-ray, and then I got all the manga, and the manga has blown my mind too, because if you've read it, it's basically the story of the movie is in the manga, but it's so much bigger and so different, and there's so much other stuff going on, all these different characters and factions, and just the detail of the animation is just, or the drawing is just absolutely insane. And it's incredible writing, it's incredible art, and I've been loving Akira. And then after I read Akira, I got Ghost in the Shell, being a little bit obvious here, but that's what I picked up. And so I enjoyed this a lot. It's really fun. If you've read this, then you'll know it's more episodic. So it's reading. I mean, I think this is a trade paperback of a series, right? So you're reading issues of a series. It's not like Akira, where it's even though they were published as issues, it's one gigantic story. This is these characters going through a number of. I almost showed you a page and then realized I had a bunch of naked women. I was oh, YouTube will get me in trouble. So this is really fun, but I much prefer Akira. Because of the fact that it's this huge epic story, and it's Ghost in the Shell to me it touches upon a lot of political and scientific stuff that I find fascinating, but to me Akira has this really intense ontological bent that engages history and a lot of existential concerns that I just really love. So if you can recommend to me other manga like Akira, dark cyberpunky existential type stuff, anything else you want to recommend to me, literally, like, that's the manga I've read. That's all of it. Like, I think I've read, like, maybe 1 or 2 issues of Dragon Ball Z. When I'm trying to remember, so tell me in the comments, because you'll know more about this than I do, but I was reading comics, like, my really big comic book reading years were, like, about 93, 94 to, like, 98. So I don't know if Dragon Ball Z was published in English at that point. I seem to remember reading Dragon Ball Z comics when I was in like middle school, but I can't remember. So let me know in the comments. Hey, yay! So the whole point of this video is that's what I've read. Please tell me what else I should be reading, because I really want to get more manga and get more into it, and then I can do more videos for the channel where I can talk to you about my like reactions to having read it, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, what else you could recommend to me, blah 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 blah. My name is Will. This is Adventures in Anime. Thank you so much for stopping by, and we will see you next time.